tired of your dog getting overly excited every time you try to get them ready for a walk. They're jumping, they're biting, they're pulling on the leash. It's not a game. I just want to get my dog ready to go for a walk peacefully. Well, this video is for you. Today we're going to talk about the right way to get your dog dressed for a walk. Step 1. Establish 4 on the floor. Generally, the area where the leash and harness are stored can be very exciting. So we begin by clicking and treating 4 on the floor in proximity to the leash and harness. Step 2. Reach for equipment. Even simply reaching towards the area where the leash and harness are stored can be exciting. It can cause our dogs to start to stand and mouth and jump. So we begin by gently reaching towards the basket where the equipment is stored. I click and treat Milo for maintaining a sit. In this position, he can be rewarded for relaxed behavior as I add in the distraction of reaching towards the equipment. As long as he is successful, meaning he can keep 4 feet on the ground, I increase distraction, working towards grabbing the harness and leash, slowly pulling it out of the basket until finally I'm able to lift the harness and leash completely out of the basket and he can stay on the ground. If he were to stand up or mouth or remove himself from the ground, I would simply put the leash and harness back in the ground and reestablish 4 on the floor. Step 3. Putting on the harness. Milo's harness is one that he has to step into. Me holding it can be super exciting for him. So again, I click and treat 4 on the floor as I hold the leash and detangle it from the harness. After I have the harness in my hand, a few more clicks and treats for staying on the ground, and then we begin the process of putting it on. Because he has to step into the harness, I go the extra step of putting the harness on the ground and rewarding him for staying on the ground instead of mouthing the harness or jumping on me. I then use the food in my hand to lure him into position. My goal is to get him to step into the harness all on his own so that I can lift the harness onto him. As you can see here, I let him eat some food from my hand as I put each leg into position, finally dropping a treat onto the ground so that he can eat it as I lift the harness up and click it into place. As soon as the harness is on, I get his attention and reestablish 4 on the floor. Step 4. Connecting the leash. I continue to reward 4 on the floor as I reach for the leash and hold it in my arms. I don't want him to jump on me and mouth, so by rewarding 4 on the floor, I give him something else to do and let him know what I want instead. As I drop the leash towards the ground, I continue rewarding him for maintaining the sit. If he were to mouth on the leash or jump on me at any point, I would simply re-ravel the leash back into my arms and start over. I begin to add distraction of the leash moving, clicking and treating him frequently for looking at me and staying still. Finally, I drop a treat to the ground so that I can clip the leash to his back. As soon as it's clipped, I reestablish focus and continue rewarding him for focusing on me and for staying on the ground. He does maintain a sit, but I would accept a stand or a down as well. As we move towards the door, I continue to reward. Step 5. Removing equipment. After the walk, they get super excited when we take it off. Make sure you continue rewarding 4 on the floor. You can even drop a treat down on the ground as you unclip the harness. As I move to put the harness and leash back into place, I continue to reward him for focusing on me and staying on the ground. Remember that this can take some time, and you need to move at your dog's pace. Listen to them. If they're jumping up and mouthing, we need more reinforcement at the step before. Once I can get 3 successful reaches towards the basket, then I begin to move the basket. Once I get 3 successful moves of the basket, then we begin to touch the leash. We want several successful repetitions in a row at one step where my dog can easily maintain 4 on the floor before I move on to the next step. With a high rate of reinforcement and clear expectations, your dog will soon be able to maintain position through the whole process. This will make your walk much easier.